Whatever happened to
China's biggest ghost mall?
That's what we're going to find out today. This is the story of a well-meaning billionaire who wanted to build the world's biggest mall in his humble hometown. Tragically, things didn't go to plan, and for the past 19 years, this record-breaking mall has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. But we've heard rumours that there is more to this story than these sensationalist headlines are letting on. So we're leaving Guangzhou and heading off to the outskirts of Dongguan to try to separate fact from fiction. To do that, we need to hop on a metro, sit on an intercity train, and find a taxi to take us to the outer reaches of the city. Upon arriving, we were greeted by some unusual sights.
So what every mall needs is a massive whale tail just outside it.
Right, so where are we then today, Nico?
We are at the new South China Mall, and up until recently, it was the biggest mall in China.
But that's not why it was famous, I don't think, because I've heard of this place a few times and it's always been for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
This place has always been famous for being, well, a bit of a ghost mall, meaning it was totally empty.
This is what happens when China's building boom goes bad. Shuttered shops, never occupied by a single tenant.
Here it is, China's biggest mall on its busiest day of the week.
But I'm looking around, Jack, and it doesn't look all that empty to me.
No, it's actually quite surprising. And I can see Adidas, I can see Li Ning, I can see 2 different looking coffees, and I can even see your favorite drink shop, which I think you are very much in need of because someone is looking like they need some cold sugary beverages.
Yeah, guys, it may not look it, but it is stiflingly hot here in Dongguan. I am absolutely sweating, so yeah, I think I might just go straight over there and get a nice cold, refreshing drink. 谢谢.
Production line, right?
Yeah, like production line, give it to someone else. 谢谢. So this looks like the passion fruit one. It's like a dessert and a drink all in one. 谢谢. And this is a lemon green tea. This was only 5 and this was 7. Oh man, that is so refreshing.
Yeah, it's so nice, but we better go start exploring.
Back in day, there was 7 sections and they were actually named after different cities or regions. So there was things like Paris, Rome, Venice, and it included some replica buildings.
But Nico,
Yeah.
where should we go though?
Well, I'm kind of hungry. I don't know about you, but it's like food time. So I'm reckoning maybe the catering market. So you've been to Dongguan before then, Jack. What is the local speciality we should indulge in?
Well, I was here on a business trip a couple of years ago and I must say I ate pretty well. There was a fair share of like the Cantonese staples. You know, I had stuff like Cantonese style hot pot. But to be honest, the absolute standout thing for me was the cheap and affordable street food. So after all, Dongguan is a city which has a large migrant population. And I found that in the evenings, there was all sorts of like affordable, cheap eats just on the side of the road. In fact, I had probably the best barbecue I've ever had, not just in China, but in the whole entire world, right here in Dongguan.
Jack, we're at a mall though, we're not going to get that, so
true.
be a bit more realistic. Yeah, I don't know where to go, to be honest, because I don't want to sit for ages and have like a really big meal. I just want to kind of grab something quick. What are your thoughts? You've seen the Yopo Mian?
I saw the Yopo Mian, I saw the Liang Pi. Could I have Liang Pi for the 3rd day in a row? Yes, I could.
I guess that's decision made then.
Oh, but now I don't know. Which should I go for?
I'm gonna
Yopo
go-
Mian or Liang Pi?
I'm going to go for Yopo Mian.
你好，我们可以吃饭吗？哪个最好吃？油泼面。啊，油泼面比凉皮更好吃一点，你觉得？
Wow, I'm quite excited. I don't think we've had a Yopo Mian since we've been back in China, have we?
Man's absolutely buzzing, I am.
I cannot wait. They look so thick. It's like chewing bread. It's amazing. So perfect, mate.
They might actually be too big. I don't know how many we're going to fit in my mouth. It actually hurts to pick them up with chopsticks. It's that heavy. No, this is like a thick slice of bread. Oh my God, amazing.
Oh my God, they were so good. I cannot get over how thick they were.
Oh, so peng alang.
So where do you think we should go now?
I know where I want to go. I want to go to the section with the roller coaster and ting.
Really? That does not sound like you. Fun? What's happened to my husband?
But this mall is so massive, Jack is going to have to wait one hot minute till we get to the theme park section, because we'll have to make our way through several other areas first.
Beloved fashion. The fashion world does not mind what the real world thinks. Some pearls of wisdom for you there.
So what I have noticed in this area is on the ground floor, it seems very busy. But if you do look up above on the second and third floor, they do kind of seem empty. So I'm wondering if basically this mall is all just the ground floor now.
But as we soon discovered, this epic mall complex is structured like a city, with long arcades serving as main roads, individual buildings serving as neighbourhoods, and large open spaces which resemble parks. And much like a city, some areas are more thriving than others.
Well, I found my favourite shop. Let's just sneak off whilst Jack's preoccupied with filming. No matter what mall you go to in China, you will always find a Miniso. Yeah, boy, love a Miniso. Do I need anything? No. Do I come in anyway? Yes.
And in this particular building, we found our first access point to the upper levels. Naturally, I sent Jack up to have a look. I'm going to share my thoughts, but let's just wait for that drilling to stop.
So what's different about this escalator compared to some of the others that you find in malls these days is you go up the escalator and then you go straight up to go to the next floor. Whereas usually you have to go all the way around and it's like a ploy to get you to walk through the mall further so you buy more stuff. But no, this is designed for the customer, not the sale.
And Jack was a fan too.
I'm pretty gassed with this escalator because it's a normal size escalator. Not like any of these bloody 5-story high escalators they seem to be building these days, like the one in Shenzhen. Just a normal escalator. What's wrong with that?
And now the moment you've all been waiting for.
It is really interesting that it goes from inside to outside, and it would have been cool to see it working back in day. I tell you what is working though, the aircon. What a lovely relief that is when you walk inside, because it is hot outside.
Bacon, mate. Oh no, that's such a wounder. So they basically say in their letter that just a few weeks ago, due to the expiration of the lease contract, they've basically had to shut down the park. So that's pretty tragic, isn't it? If we'd come just a few weeks before, we could have gone on the train track, we could have gone on the go-karts, we could have gone and stroked the dinosaur.
I'm hoping that it's just temporary. What a waste it would be if all this stuff just kind of deteriorated into nothing, because it looks like it's a fun place.
Thankfully, Jack was still able to wander around and grab some shots so we can imagine how epic this place would have been in its heyday.
Actually kind of reminds me of a mall near my hometown called the Metro Centre, and that used to have this amazing theme park inside, a little bit like this, and it had a roller coaster and a pirate ship, and you would go there for birthdays and it would be so much fun. The kids are missing out in Dongguan. Let's get this open again.
And whilst waiting for Jack, I wandered into another building and found another play area in a similar state.
Man, here's another kids play area, and it's absolutely huge. There's these little cars and they've just been left exactly like, I guess, how they were. Nobody's bothered to tidy them up. There's still bricks in the brick area. Nobody's bothered to put them away. Is somebody gonna come back, or are they just hoping that, you know, it'll reopen again?
Perhaps the wall art scared off the kids.
That is one big scary dragon. And look away now, guys, if you're scared of snakes. Oh, just shipwreck. Scary chimp right behind me. Why are they all scary? Wow, the attention to detail. It's even got blood around its mouth. Who painted these? What are you trying to do with the kids, guys?
It's a good job Jack ain't here to see these, because he would be scared silly.
What did you think?
Oh my word. Well, you know what? It's no secret that I am not a fan of theme parks, especially the big thriving ones like your Universal or your Disney. But this was incredible. Incredibly moving as well. Walking around, everything's left just as it was just a few weeks ago when it was a thriving theme park. And you know what? I could still hear the excitement of children as I gazed around. The pitter-patter of tiny feet and their screams as they ran joyfully from ride to ride, begging their parents to buy them another ticket for yet another attraction. And now it's all just shut down, consigned to history. And you know what? When I was a child, some of my favorite memories were with my grandparents taking me on the toy train around the park. And now the children of Dongguan are going to be denied this opportunity. So I hope, for the good of the people, for the good of the children of Dongguan, this theme park will open its doors once more.
And on that somber note, let's rewind 19 years and tell you the tragic story of how this mall came to be.
So back in the 2000s, an instant noodle tycoon wanted to build something amazing in his home city of Dongguan. So he invested over $1 billion to build the biggest mall in China, which is the South China Mall. In 2005, it opened and it was estimated to bring in 100,000 visitors daily. But things didn't quite go to plan.
This publicity video shows what was then the largest mall in the world, bustling with customers. The reality is somewhat different.
So when they first opened this mall, unfortunately it didn't meet the expectations that they planned. They definitely didn't get the 100,000 visitors a day, and they only managed to fill 10% of the retail space.
Oh, that is just absolute.
Oh, you've got so much teeth. Wow.
Oh man, that's just absolutely tragic, isn't it? But I do feel like that's way too ambitious of a target, really. Like, obviously their idea was to attract shoppers from Guangzhou and Shenzhen. Now, we've come from Guangzhou, and how was it getting here, Nico?
It was an absolute ball ache, to be honest. Like, it's nowhere near any public transport. And Shenzhen and Guangzhou have quite a few malls anyway, so why would people come this far?
And they also made the fatal mistake of assuming that, you know, this would attract lots of upper class shoppers. But the reality is Dongguan is not a rich Chinese city, certainly not the richest in this area anyway.
Yeah, most people who live in Dongguan are migrant workers, so they don't have disposable income to come to a mall and spend loads of money on fancy shops. So I think they were appealing to the wrong demographic when they built it.
I come here just for the theme park. If it's not there, I definitely wouldn't come.
It's actually just such a tragic story. Imagine just wanting to do something so nice for your hometown, and then, you know, it all just blows up in your face. You just want to give back to the people who made you, and it all just goes tits up, honestly. I just feel so bad for my man.
But according to the internet, there is life in this mall yet.
So I did read on the internet that this mall is almost at full capacity, but I think that's a bit of BS really, because there are a lot of shops and empty retail spaces, especially in the second and third floor of this building. I mean, look down here, it's totally empty. But like I said before, on the ground floor though, that is thriving, and there's loads and loads of stuff down there.
I believe them. I think this mall could be fully occupied. Look, there's 1 shop, 2 shop, 3 shop, 4 shop, 5 shops, 6 shops, all in a row. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, Nico. Fake news.
This one is definitely open.
But jokes aside,
It's just such a big space. I mean, how on earth do you fill such a big space?
I guess it has been stuck in a bit of a vicious cycle, in which every time a shop closes down, it reduces the footfall and makes the mall less desirable. And it doesn't look good for a popular brand to display their products in a half-full mall. So, more and more shops close until eventually the dominoes have all fallen and you are left with a ghost mall. But there are still a few interesting attractions at this mall.
Do you reckon they'll let us on it? Because it looks hella fun.
I'm thinking maybe we should ask them.
Do you reckon?
How tall are you, Nico?
165 centimeters?
Okay, so you're a little bit too tall. How old are you? Wait, actually, don't answer that. You're older than 12, and you're bigger than 1.5 meters, so I'm afraid you're not allowed on, missus.
I'm sad now. This looks like lots of fun, and unfortunately, I won't be going on it. Do you not reckon I could pass for a 12-year-old?
Anyway, let's get back to the story.
For about 10 years, this mall basically lay empty, but they did start to rejuvenate it. And instead of aiming it at the fancy people that have a lot of money, they started to rent the space to kind of slightly cheaper shops and appeal to the market here in Dongguan.
So this is super interesting. What they've kind of done is almost subdivided a large area into lots of smaller, more manageable sized shops. It almost feels like somewhere you get in like a little underground mini shopping mall that you often find near subway stations in China. It's got little shops selling boutique sort of clothing. There's a nail bar, which Nico seems to have taken a keen interest in.
Lovely nail colours.
They can charge lower rent, which is ideal for small businesses, Also, these days in China, a lot of businesses actually survive by selling their clothes and their things online. So they don't need a massive retail space. They just need somewhere from which they can operate a small Taobao shop from, send out orders all across the country. That is the modern world after all.
But is subdividing retail space going to be enough to secure the future of this gargantuan mall complex?
I don't think it's quite thriving yet, but it is surviving. So after all this time, it is still running and it's not a completely wasted project. But it does make you think, guys, bigger isn't always better. And if you build it, they might not come. So if you're thinking about doing a huge project like this for your hometown, then maybe do a bit of market research, maybe see if it will work. Because in China, they have a habit of building the biggest, the largest, the longest thing. And sometimes it's really good and it works. And sometimes, like this one, you know, maybe they just missed the mark a bit.
What do you guys think? Leave us a comment letting us know whether you think this mall was a smashing success or a wasted opportunity. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming trip to Wuhan. And yes, there will be lots more noodles consumed. Bye!